To add to
Thank you
that
very
as
much.
well, if we have a minute or two for me to add. So two things I wanted to
Oh,
say
yeah,
about
go.
that was the practices that could be described, that will be very relevant to help the brain trigger the release of oxytocin. And what oxytocin does is it's very strongly indicative for bonding, attachment, secure attachment between the mother and the baby. It helps breastfeeding. It helps the mother feel calm and relaxed. So if there is excessive mood swings going on or excessive anxiety going on, doing something as nice as that for a mom, a new mom, can go a very long way to help them feel loved again. So I think that's it. Thank you for saying that. I'm even going to start to implement that if I have when I have the opportunity. The second thing I wanted to address was the cultural practices piece of it. So that again, for me, the way I'm thinking about this topic will go into the macro. At this point, I don't know how much policies that we're able to impact and affect, but we can affect our cultural policies. We're coming from a culture where our parents, mothers, let me not say mothers, older women pass down some practices that they expect from young mothers. And one of them is even after you've had a baby, you're supposed to get up and you're the superwoman and do this and do that. And oh my God, no. Um, I can't remember who was talking about men not being aware of their partners having postpartum because they could think as if my mother didn't have it. How would you know your mother didn't have it? You were a baby. So you're not even aware of what was going on with your mom or not. These are all cultural misconceptions that we have to change, and it starts with us. Again, you're an ambassador, I'm an ambassador, we're all ambassadors, so we got to do better for the coming generation, but it starts with us. We start to change these things little by little, and hopefully we make a better culture, birth experience for the coming mothers. There was also a question about if it is passed down, if postpartum is passed down. I read a research that talked about how good enough parenting is passed down two generations. So if a woman is a good enough mother, you don't have to be an excellent mother. Good enough is fine. If you're a good enough mother, you're able to, the oxytocin that your DNA encodes is going to be passed down to your daughter and it's going to be passed down to her daughter. So the decisions we're making about how we manage this is going to impact our grandchildren. And that's something for us all to think about.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Kobe. Thank you, um, Dr. Joy. All right, so I have a question for you before I went off. Can prayers alone solve mental illnesses? Can prayers alone do that?
The straightforward answer to that is no. Prayers alone cannot solve mental health problems. But the other side of the coin is yes, prayer can help. Again, it depends on how far gone the condition is. If it is severe, no, I would say no. For the sake of that person and their family and their community, no, please get help. I found a quote somewhere that I put in front of me for a very long time. It says, faith is neuroception for the believer. And I thought about that for a very long time. Anytime I sit here, I'll just reflect on it. Faith is neuroception for the believer. What that means is because we have faith and we're praying, that is hope. And hope has a lot of positive energy in it. Neuroscientifically based hope. We try to create hope for clients, our patients, our clients. We help them generate hope because hope can help us move very farther along the healing process. So faith can help us generate hope that can help a person start to get better. But if it is mild, yes. If it is moderate, maybe. If it is severe, no.
And can I
Thank
add
you.
something to that too? I think the notion of just pray about it, you're gonna be fine, is soaked in stigma, the stigma attached to mental illness. Like you're mentally ill because you've done something wrong, you've done some kind of sin. And I tell people, like, we don't tell people who are sick with cancer to just pray about it. Don't take your medication, just be more prayerful. So why would we say that to somebody who's struggling with mental illnesses? And I also think, we've heard about, divine healing in the Bible, but also Jesus didn't divinely heal everybody. People still had to go to professionals. They still had to go to doctors and ointments and all that stuff. And God can use the professional to help you get better. And even if you do get healed divinely and you return to the same environment and nothing has changed in your environment, there's a high probability that that condition will return, because we talked about the risk factors that trigger this mental illnesses, the social, the environment, the biologicals, and things like that. So even if you do get healed by prayer and you still go back to the same exact situation and you haven't gotten help from a professional to teach you, how to handle stress, how to say no, and all this kind of other things, there's a probability that you get sick again. So we need to stop this message that we pass on to people who are struggling. Just pray more and you'll be all right. It's more than that.
Wow. Thank you so much. For you, Kobe, is depression the only sign of perinatal mental health reaction or disorder?
Can you say that again? I think it's echoing.
Is depression the only sign of perinatal mental health reaction or disorder?
What everyone has mentioned so far, there are different, if I got the question right, because I think I was struggling there a bit. There's a postpartum, which I think Dr. Funto went in depth going through the different types, which includes like the whole broad range of PMAD, which is there's a postpartum psychosis, there's a psychosis, there's the anxiety. I'm just saying it randomly. Anxiety, pregnancy / postpartum depression, pregnancy / postpartum anxiety. There's a psychosis. There's the OCD. Which other one again? What am I missing? Someone comment if I'm missing something. I know
PTSD.
I've mentioned.
Yes.
PTSD, right? So not just depression. It's just that depression and anxiety, or rather postpartum depression and anxiety, are more common than psychosis and PTSD and OCD. But generally, there is some it's when it's just postpartum and it's left untreated, that is when it degenerates up to you get. So it's not just depression, but depression and anxiety are more common, right? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I want to ask you this question, Vena. We talked about initiatives. What are do we have initiatives here in Nigeria of perinatal mental wellness?
Thank you so much, Sabrina. That's a good question. Thank you so much, everyone, for the answers so far. Before I answer the question about initiatives, I just want to share my personal experience with mental health and how, prayers is not sufficient. I think it was in 2018. I don't know. I think God was just trying to let me understand the gravity of what we're doing. And, when you see what we're doing today, that's part of why I am passionate about it. I did have some episode of anxiety and panic attacks back in 2018. I'm a Christian. I'm a minister, a Christian minister. And I tried to figure out what were the triggers, what was going on with me. I couldn't get on the highway. I couldn't go to work. There were days when I'll be at work and I'll have the attack and I would have to leave work. there were days when I couldn't just function because of what was going on with me. I was really scared because I didn't know how far that was going to last. And this was affecting a lot around me. I couldn't go so far. There was a day that I was supposed to go to church for a midweek service. And, I just got like on the street way. And I had to turn back because I'll be sweating and shaking in the car. And I would just feel like something bad will happen to me. So I turned back, came back, parked my car, and called Uber. The Uber driver came, and the guy was laughing at me. And he was like, how can you have a car and yet call Uber? And no, answered the guy. In my mind, I'm like, well, that's none of your business. Just take me to where I am going to. Of course, the guy was an African. And, that takes us back to that issue of stigmatization, right? Mind you, I was going to church. Why? And I've always been in the church settings. Why did I have to deal with all of that? I prayed. I asked for prayers. I didn't just keep quiet. I asked for prayers, from my pastors then and all that. But it didn't resolve. I started looking for practical ways. And that was where I actually learned about the breathing therapy. And so one of the things that I would do is I tried not to go on the highways. When I drive, along the road, not getting on the highway, when it starts, I'll start that breathing practice. And it was helping me. So just imagine that I didn't look for other ways. Well, I didn't end up seeing a professional because I was assured that it was just for a moment. Well, when it fizzled out, I didn't know. But trust me, there was more than prayers needed at the time. I just wanted to be practical about that. Answering about the questions about initiatives in Nigeria, as we have all heard, there's so much going on in Nigeria. My heart bled when Kobe gave an example of women, having to use their hands to manually squeeze out milk from their breasts. I was like, in America, for instance, a pump is like a no-brainer, right? It's something that you have free access to. Well, not free, but at least it's like a given that you would have that, even if it's just at the hospital. You can easily purchase a breast pump from your local store, right? And it's not made up. I also just remembered that I have seen a situation where one of my former pastor's wife, when I was in Abuja, and this is Abuja. Abuja is a major city in Nigeria. And so we went to visit a friend who just had a baby. And my pastor's wife was helping another church member who also had a baby. She was helping her to practically, squeeze out milk from the breast. This is why, as Divine Delight Foundation, one of the practical ways that we are following up from this event is to do a follow-up. One of the things we're doing is a newborn kit drive or outreach rather. So we're going to partner with some maternity centers and primary health centers and provide newborn kits to women from low-income areas. We also want to see how we can partner with maternities and primary healthcare centers to see how we can infuse mental health awareness into what's that thing called? The visits before the childbirth. I'm sorry?
Antenatal care.
Antenatal care, thank you. So during antenatal care, we know that in Nigeria, for instance, antenatal care is usually a group event. So we want to see how we can partner with them in terms of the sensitization that this needs to come in at that point in the life of the pregnant woman. Let's not wait until she's, done with having her baby before she starts to think about her mental wellness. I believe that if that starts from the point where, before birth of the baby, that can help. The woman can understand these are the things that may happen to me. Some people may not have these experiences, but some may have it. So those are some of the initiatives that we have coming up before this year is over. We will talk more about the newborn kit outreach before the end of the event. I know that Kobe is also doing an amazing work in Nigeria already through the Eden Foundation that she started. They already go out and reach out to women in hospitals and all that. I'll let her speak for herself since she's here, so she can also talk about the initiative that they have on their end. So beyond just Divine the Light Foundation, Eden Foundation, I do know that there are a few other initiatives that are on there, but we do have some local initiatives going on. Kobe, do you want to follow that up?
All right, thank you very much. So for something similar to what Timmy is working on, which is the birth kit. For us, we are giving the kit to preterm with mothers in the NICU. So we are specific because of my own experiences. Essentially, or maybe I should go back a bit. So I founded an organization in Nigeria, and it's called Eden Foundation. It's an acronym for Educate, Direct, Empower, and Nurture. So the whole idea is we're working to improve the health outcomes of preterm babies and maternal mental health. So for our preterm baby wing of it, the program of it, what we do is we distribute our Eden Preterm Kit. The kit contains essential materials which are particularly in line with the WHO and UNICEF Survive and Thrive report. So what we do is the kit contains, like I mentioned, contains those items. It has a pamphlet on caring for your mental health and beyond, caring for your preterm baby beyond the hospital. And currently what we just finished doing right now is on the mental health side of it, we just created a pamphlet, and the pamphlet will be distributed to hospitals like something similar to what Abiona is saying, because again, I strongly believe that every mother should be educated on maternal mental health. So because of the distance barrier and because the number of psychiatrists, the mental health professionals in Nigeria is really lacking, for now, we're working strictly using the pamphlet. So what we're doing is to make sure that we distribute every hospital. For now, we're starting with just one hospital. That's what we're doing, which is National Hospital at National Hospital at Abuja. We'll be distributing our pamphlet to the hospitals so that during antenatal care visits, the mothers, alongside with other resources they have this pamphlet. The pamphlet includes a brief overview of postpartum depression of PMAD. It includes practical examples of what mothers can do, some simple examples, and some more like a high overview of a summary of what we just discussed here. Like everything is in the pamphlet. So that's what we're giving out to mothers. Eventually, we'll have to come up with a process where we're able to actually be there at the hospital and take screening. So that's the stage we're building up to. But for now, we're just focusing on the pamphlet. And I think the question has to do with how can people get involved? Again, there are so many ways people can get involved. I'm sure, Abiona, I think we all have some kind of element of practice, personal practices or private practices. Abiona, for me, is a non-profit. For Abiona, is a non-profit. I think someone is Hopstead, that is Dr. Funto Hopstead, and Joy has a private practice. And again, Dr. Lizzie. For me, I think I can speak on behalf of, there's always a need for resources. Like, for instance, there's always a need for volunteers who would be there on our behalf. There's always a need for physical, not just volunteers, there's always a need for cash donations so that we can expand our services. And there's always the need for networking. So if you know someone that knows someone, networking is very, very important. The more we network, the more we are able to reach a broader range. So if you know, for instance, like a nurse or somebody at XYZ hospital, you can just give us a contact, like connect us to that person so that you believe that this service will be needed there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That was very insightful. So my last question to Dr. Joy. She said I shouldn't call her a doctor, but I bestowed this upon all of you because you all are my doctors already. Thank you. How long does it take to recover from a prenatal mental reaction or disorder?
Thank you for that question. I'll be very frank to say that because that's not my area of specialty, I'm not aware, I don't know. I cannot give you like exact figures or numbers, so maybe I'll
Okay, can we ask
to someone else who was able to answer that question very specifically.
Okay, let's go to the point. Dr. Lizzie?
So honestly, it really depends on the clients. Typically, postpartum depression and anxiety goes through like the first year after giving birth. So that's an interesting question because, after that first year, you could definitely still have depression. You could, of course, add to your family and still have depression. So I really think it depends on the client. It's hard to just kind of give like a time frame, like, oh, by this time you will be, cured from depression. I really think it depends on the clients and how they are taking care of it, right? Some clients go to consistent therapy every week. Some clients actually, take medication. So it really just depends on the clients and what their treatment plan looks like. I don't believe, and Dr. Funto, you can help me with this, but I don't believe there's like a certain time frame. I do know that it does last throughout the first year. So when your baby becomes a toddler.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think also how soon you get help, right?
Exactly.
That also plays a role. So if you get help quickly, when you start to notice
Awesome.
and you get help versus if you let it last long without getting help, all those are factors that can impact, how well you get well, how quick you get well.
So in addition to that, the only thing I'll add is the severity. When we look at the severity, how severe is it? If it's mild, then we catching it quickly, getting help, interventions can be very helpful. But if we're looking at moderate or severe depression, taking it out of the context of perinatal and looking at just a human being moderately or severely depressed, then I'll be leaning more towards what Dr. Lee said, which is the treatment plan, the frequency of treatment, how engaged they are, what other interventions have been added to the person's treatment, and the biology can also play a very huge role, the social environment. So it's very, very multifaceted. It's not a direct question it's not a question that has a direct answer.
All right, thank you very much. It's been a great time here at this year's seminar, and I trust that all our viewers or guests have learned so much. This is my last question to every one of you, Dr. Funtor, to Lizzie, to Dr. Lees, to Kobe, to Joy. What is your takeaway message to our audience?
What I would say is take care of yourself. You got to look out for yourself, and don't try to meet somebody else's expectations for you. I think somebody had mentioned the mask on analogy. You got to take care of yourself first. You can't give out of an empty cup. You got to take care of yourself first, and that's when you can be healthy and be present for your newborn and for your family.
Dr. Lizzie?
Yes, very similar to what Dr. Punto said. I'm a huge advocate for self-care. I actually, talk a lot about self-care and just, the importance of it and how it needs to be a lifestyle and not something that we just put on the back burner. We need to implement it into our daily lives in order for us to feel full and fulfilled. That's just very important, especially during this period of, carrying life, right? You want to do whatever you can to protect your peace, protect your energy. It's very important because it's not just about you, right? Once you get pregnant, you have to, now think about a life that you're bringing into the world. So it's very similar to Dr. Punto. Self-care is huge and not selfish. It's very important. So that's my takeaway.
Thank you. Joy, take it back.
Yeah, so in addition to that, I will say for the micro system, which is the person who's the new mom, fake it till you make it. Whatever you need to do, start small, push yourself. That could be very pivotal to how long you stay feeling those symptoms of depression. So fake it till you make it. For the people around them and other systems, we have to do better in our community. We just have to do better. There's so many cultural practices that it starts with us, it starts with you, it starts with me. We have to change things around to make it easier for this population to manage this time of their lives and come out of it healthier, with great babies attached, because this is what is going to be pervasive for the community, for the world. It's the unit and then ripple effect. So fake it till you make it. That's for the individual, then for the system. Let's change our culture. Let's make it better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fake it till you make it. Out of course, mouth. Often I've taken that away. All right, Kobe, Ajayi.
So again, in addition to what everyone has said, I just want I always like to close, but anytime I'm asked this question, I always like to close to make it really personal. To the mother out there, just know you're loved, right? It might not look like you're loved. It might feel so overwhelming right now, but you're special. You're loved. It's overwhelming. Sometimes it's easier said than done, and I can imagine if you're in Nigeria right now, to look like, oh, you people are not in the country, so you people are not experiencing the hardship. But the truth is, we have families out there. We may not really know exactly what you're going through, but just know that you are loved, your feelings are valid, you are not alone. There is no perfect mom. Like we all showed up out here with our makeups and everything. Trust me, you don't want to see me when we finish this, right? We go back to ourselves. So we're showing up. When you see us on social media or when you see people on social media, that's the part we want you to see. There's no perfect mom. So you are enough. Your children, what you're doing, it's enough. Don't be hard on yourself. The way you extend grace to other people, the way you make excuses for someone else when someone makes a mistake, give yourself that grace and make an excuse for yourself. You are just as human and as every other person. You're loved, you're special, your children love you, your feelings are valid, and you're not alone. You have a host of all of us. You know how many women are in the earth? We're plenty. So we are with you and we're for you. Yeah.
Wow. I don't know what else to say, but I'm really grateful for this opportunity to compare this event with such great minds and excellent women, because you're beautiful, you're loved by me. Thank you all so much for that great time, the presentation, the question and answer segment. God bless you and take you higher in Jesus' name. I'd like to welcome the founder of Divine Delights Foundation, Mrs. Temi Abiona. Over.
Thank you so very much, Sabrina. In addition to all the amazing things that our speakers have said, I just want to add that, charity, they say, begins at home. one of the things that I'd like to say is be your own voice, right? If nobody is speaking for you, speak for yourself. Yeah, speak for yourself. I have found that very, very helpful when it comes to my health. I've been through some very serious health issues. And one of the things that I found that really helped me with the breakthrough was that I was speaking for myself. I was looking for help. And trust me, you may not have a good experience with your first provider when it comes to your mental health. Don't stop there. Don't be discouraged that, because somebody didn't help you the first time and that's the end of it. No, if you didn't get help the first time, look for help yet again. That's not the end of the journey. Keep seeking for help until you get help. So I'll definitely, say that. The second thing that I like to say is, please speak up and speak about this. Speak about it in your community, in your family, in your, organizations, in your religious settings, in your churches, even amongst whatever religion you are. I mean, you're a part of. Speak about this. Also, when it comes to the policy aspect, we can speak to our representatives. That's why they were elected, right? They need to move certain things for us. They need to help us implement changes, especially, when we're not, when certain things are not being done rightly, in our community. We want to speak to those who can actually make things happen. I may not be able to make the changes when it comes to policy, but can I look for the people who can help? Definitely I can. So let's look for those who can help us move, the button from where it is right now to the next button. Who are those that can help us make sure that, okay, at birthing centers, in the hospitals, in the maternity centers, we're having access to breast pumps, women are being taken care of. Mental health is being included in antenatal visits and postnatal visits. So we want to look for those people. We want to speak to them. We want to look for those changes and sort of request for them, right? The other thing that I'll also say, in addition is please stop the stigma. Stop the stigma. We're quick to stigmatize. We're in Nigeria is a place where we stigmatize a lot. And it really needs to stop. Don't, because you were strong when you had your baby, doesn't mean that I have to be as strong as you. And don't compare yourselves to others. That's how you can actually show support and love. So love others, be kind to others with your words, with your actions, right? It's okay. We are all learning. So if you have made mistakes in the past, let this be a call to action that you're changing. If you've been harsh with your words to others in the past, let this be that you're changing. I remember that my immediate older sister actually had serious postpartum depression, and I didn't know. I always feel bad when I remember that I didn't realize that my sister was having postpartum depression. And it was so bad. And everybody thought that she was fine, but she wasn't until she spoke up and said, I was in a mess. I'm glad she's doing okay now. We want to be sensitive. We want to know, what's going on with the people around us. Thank you so very much. It's been a very, very interesting time to learn today. I'm just hoping that you were able to take out one thing or the other from this sessions today. It's been very educative and very, very helpful. Like I mentioned earlier, Divine Delight Foundation has an upcoming project. We want to reach out to, please, if you can help me put up that information. We want to reach out to women in Nigeria, especially, or precisely, not especially, we want to reach out to women in Nigeria with newborn kids over the next few months. Our first project will be out in August. By God's grace, we're reaching out to some women in Ogun State, and then momentarily before the end of the year, we're going to also reach out to some women in the north, most likely in Plateau State. We're just still working on the logistics of that. If you would like to partner with us by volunteering, I am not presently in Nigeria. I live in Minnesota, and I work here. So we definitely need to have volunteers that can help us deliver this and make this great. So if you'd like to volunteer, if you would also like to donate your funds towards this, we already have some businesses joining forces with us to make this a reality. We would greatly appreciate you reaching out to us. You can definitely send us an email to divinedelightfoundation@gmail.com. You can email us at divinedelightfoundation@gmail.com for more inquiries about that. So, and like I also mentioned, one of the things that we want to do is also to see, if we can get providers who will be willing to so mental health providers, I meant, who will be willing to give pro bono sessions when it comes to mental health education, especially when it comes to perinatal mental health. We're seeking collaboration with mental health providers. What we want to do is that we want to access maternity centers and primary health care centers to find our own little way. We're recommending for us to speak up to make the change. We want that change to be us. So yeah, and of course we need a lot of goodwill and prayers for all of this to become a reality. So yeah, please send all of those our way. On that note, I really just want to appreciate everyone who has contributed to making this event a success. First and foremost, I really want to thank every member of the Divine Delight team who have been working for several months. Yes, this was not just something that we started last week or last month. So for the hiccups that we got yesterday and the hiccups we got today, those were not meant to be, those were not intended, those were not because we were sitting and folding our hands. We've really worked so hard. And I thank everyone who has been on that team. Thank you for your dedication and your commitment. You're very, very much appreciated. Thank you. And I really want to also thank my facilitators today. Oh my God. Thank you guys so very much. Dr. Funtoye Wale, thank you for accepting to be here with us today. From the very first day that I reached out to you, thank you for helping us. Even when it was looking like, oh my God, things were not working, we weren't getting enough facilitators. I know that you guys will believe that today we had at least good seasoned facilitators in the room. Thank you for joining us on very short notice. Joy Jagete, I really appreciate your passion, your flexibility, and your acceptance to join us. Thank you so much. You're not taken for granted at all. Thank you so much, Kobe Ajayi. Let me tell you guys, I actually found Kobe on Instagram. That's how I came across her, because her foundation followed my personal page. And I was like, okay, all right. From researching what the organization was about, I found the person who was behind it. And I did see that she aligned with this project. And in less than about 2 weeks or so ago was when we connected. And I really appreciate you for being flexible and being committed to this. Thank you so much, Kobe. I appreciate you. Dr. Liz Adedoko, we go way back. Thank you for joining us again this year. She was with us last year and she's been amazing. When she saw this on very short notice, about last week or so, I think was when she saw this and she's like, I really want to be a part of this. This is my passion. And, we just found a way to make it happen. And she did come with her A game. Thank you so much. we're very, very grateful for having you join us. Thank you. I also really want to thank Mayo Clinic for sponsoring this event as well. Mayo Clinic has an initiative called Mayo Clinic Global, and they are Mayo Clinic Global is an initiative that reaches out to organizations at different levels, to not organizations, rather communities outside of the US, to educate and to sensitize and to help even providers, and also to educate and sensitize on the community levels. And they found this project and this seminar today, this work that we are doing, they found it worthy to be sponsored. So we really thank Mayo Clinic for joining us on this. Thank you, Mayo Clinic Global Health Program. Thank you. And we do have some representatives from Mayo Clinic joining us today as well. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for helping on the background, Sarah. We really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has donated in the past and in the present to make our project a reality. We're moving one project at a time, doing what we can from, the small levels. We're taking little steps, and our aim is not to change the world at a time, but we will do it one step, one project at a time. So we believe that this is one of it, that is one of the little projects that we're doing at this time. I really just want to thank especially my husband for supporting me, for releasing me to do this, and for helping me do this amazing. I just really want to say thank you for that. You're amazing. Thank you for helping in all the ways that you have always done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, everyone. I know my parents are on here as well. They're watching. They've been cheering me on. And I'm so grateful for you all. Thank you for supporting this little girl. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined in today. You all are amazing. Thank you for believing in us. I know we are just little and small, but you believed in us and you have decided to join us. Thank you so very much. We really appreciate you. I want to also say thank you to whoever I've not said thank you to. That's the issue when you're mentioning names, right? Thank you also very much for everything. Thank you for joining us today. It's been such a blessing and such a great delight to have you join us. If you have any questions or you need any information, please reach out to us by email at Divine Delight Foundation @gmail.com, and we'll be prompt to respond to you. Thank you so very much again. Have a good rest of your weekend and stay well, stay healthy, love yourself. We love you. Have a great one.
Guess we can all sign off now, isn't it?
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just wanted